Hello, and it's time for the Greek of the week. Since I did Hebrews 1 1 through 4 this week on my podcast video, I thought I would do Hebrews 1 1 and 2 for our Greek of the week. Polymeros kai polytropos, palai ho theos lalesas tois patrasin, entois prophetais. What you may hear is a repeated P sound, polymeros, polytropos, palai, patrasin, prophetais. That's called assonance, and it is a pleasing sound, or at least it's a fun sound. It shows that artfulness is here in Hebrews, and the author of Hebrews does seem to be a very highly educated person, probably along with Luke, the best Greek of the New Testament in terms of style. This is the periodic style. These first four verses of Hebrews are all one long sentence, which it's considered bad writing today, I would say, but it was considered good writing in the Greek world. So polymeros kai polytropos, these two words somewhat go together to say in many and various ways, a multiplicity of ways that God spoke formerly. Palai, formerly, God, here we have the subject, nominative. Now the verb is elalesen. God spoke. So this here, lalesas, is a participle. God, having spoken to the fathers by the prophets, comma, in these last days spoke to us. Contrast between how God formerly spoke and how God has spoken in these days, these last days. So God is the subject of this sentence. And then lalesas is a participle. It is a nominative masculine singular participle. Just have to memorize it. Sigma alpha has you thinking it's an aorist active participle, nominative masculine singular. And so having spoken, the having from it being an aorist. It has a concessive feel to it, although God formally spoke to the fathers through the prophets, in these last days he spoke to us through a son. So again, participle, to the fathers, this is dative plural, masculine, by the prophets, by means of the prophets, I suppose a dative of agency because the prophets are people. Even though N comes across as in, it has a wide range of nuances that N can have, almost as wide as the dative case, it seems sometimes. So in many and various ways, formerly, God, having spoken to the fathers through the prophets, comma, in the last of these days, he spoke to us by a son, en huio. In the last of these days, last days, this is a Septuagintalism. It is a allusion to Jeremiah. The prophet Jeremiah uses this expression, days are coming in the last days and so forth, signaling that the days that Jeremiah foretold have most meaningfully come to pass in Jesus. Two-tone. So let me give you the Greek. Episkatu ton hemeron two-tone, elalesen hemin hen huio. In the last of these days, he spoke to us by a son. And notice that by a son contrasts with by the prophets. They have a contrast. Formerly contrasts with these last days, and son and prophets. And also the multiplicity of ways that God spoke contrasts with the singularity of the most recent way that God has spoken. Elalesen is also aorist, but with an augment, it is indicative, aorist active indicative third singular from laleo. A nu with an epsilon in front of it is often a movable nu. Throw it away. It's just for sound. Epsilon is a very common third person singular past tense ending, active indicative. And with the sigma, it's aorist active indicative. Anyway, he spoke, God spoke to us, personal pronoun, dative plural, by a son, dative singular, whom and through whom. These are relative clauses. A relative pronoun is like a noun ending without a word. So here we have the accusative masculine singular ending without a word. It's a relative pronoun. Whom he placed heir of all things. Etheken is tithemi. This is a me verb. Me verbs have 2.5 weird things about them. The half is that instead of having a sigma here, this is aorist, instead of having a sigma, it has a kappa. I'm used to there being a kappa in the perfect. I'm sorry. But it doesn't have reduplication on the front. It has an augment. So that's your clue that it's not perfect. It's aorist. Another weird thing is that they have a funny reduplication on the front with an iota. So themi. But this is, and it does that in the present system. But this is aorist, active indicative, third singular from tithemi. So it doesn't have the in the aorist. So theta eta is the core of this word, tithemi. Aorist, active indicative, third singular from tithemi. Whom he placed heir of all things, through whom also he made the ages, or he made the worlds. Hon etheken kleronomon panton dihu kai epoisen tus ionas. Okay, through whom also he made the ages. Again, relative pronoun, but this is genitive. You notice that it has a rough breathing mark on it as well. Noun ending without a word, genitive masculine singular here. Epoisen, see the sen, like sen, n, it is a aorist active indicative third singular from poieo, augment on the front, sigma epsilon tells me it's aorist active indicative third singular. This is interesting. Usually it's translated the worlds, the eons. I put ages here just for fun, but it is usually translated worlds, but it's not cosmos. There's something more going on here, I think, than just space. I haven't, to be honest, after many decades of looking at Hebrews, I haven't fully come to a conclusion exactly what the significance of Ionos is. Well, this has been Hebrews 1, 1, and 2 in Greek.